Good morning. So second epiphany for the day. Actually, what's the time now? Yeah, 10:42. Been up since about 5:30. Had a great morning run, all that good stuff. In the bathroom just before, I just realized I could call myself Supercharged Steve. And part of that is ensuring that I have robust and reliable connectivity everywhere. One of our good friends who came to Sydney recently for the Peplink training provided me with a Max Transit Pro, which I've been doing some testing on. And today I'm getting Marcus, or miraculous Marcus, to assist me with some semi-permanent or more permanent install within my car. Now, we do normally go to partners when we talk vehicle installs. However, one of the main things that I'm looking for is plug and play reliability, so I can take my technology from the vehicle straight out to an event and use that for console control or things along those lines. So I believe most of you guys have seen what I call the land yacht, which is the connectivity Triton, but I'm making my own smaller version currently with no SAT as WAN, so enjoy. So I believe by now most of you guys have seen what I call the land yacht. What I'm trying to do, hello miraculous Marcus, is get my personal vehicle connected with Peplink as well. So Professor Peplink, Pete West, provided me with a Max Transit Pro, which so far has been incredible, and is not anywhere near as powerful as the
MBX
HD4 in there.
5G.
But it's still a good start, because with this vehicle we have 4 cellulars in there, plus the Mosaic by Kymeta. We have Starlink on the front, some 42G antennas, and some of the marine high gain antennas as well. But for my smaller version, we're scaling it back, and we've got is that 40G, was it?
That is the 40G.
Yep. Cool. So we have the 40G,
yep,
which will be my 4 cellulars, being that there's 2 cellular radios, the 2 cellular modems in the Max Transit Duo, and then we have the 20G as well, which will provide me my Wi-Fi while in the vehicle. Currently my idea, if Marcus agrees, is to use 2 of these, and I'll probably use Peplink Velcro to secure my antenna in a temp situation behind the headrest. And then beyond that, because we both come from the production world, what I did before but didn't work so well was install a V-mount plate so we can do battery power to Phoenix connector, but we will clean that up. I also did a 12 volt to Phoenix, which again wasn't amazing, but I do also have some microfit Molex stuff which we can strip and make this more plug and play, so I'll be able to plug and unplug as opposed to Phoenix, which has the screw connectors. Apart from that, the rest of the cabling we'll have to temporarily manage, and in this occasion I had these jumpers as well. So fill me in, what was the name of these jumpers or connections?
We're going from SMA to QMA. So these are just some spares that we had just to get Steve going. Normally we'd just actually have the SMA connector straight on the antenna cable. We wouldn't be using these jumper leads. There's also barrels you can get which take up a lot less space. This is just using what's available to get him going.
So yeah, this is the temp. Eventually I do want black Peplink antennas, but I'm just using some company resources at the moment as opposed to going out of pocket. And the trusty Peplink Velcro as well. So that's what we're working with. So technically we're meant to start a meeting soon, but we do have connectivity anyway with our Teams, well not Teams, we're actually Google Meet, our iPhone and an iPad. But let's continue until other people join, if they join.
Yeah.
So continuing on.
So what we've done, we've got our tools out and we've got some parts. So we're going to use what are called bootlaces. So these bootlaces small little things that have like a bootlace, and we'll just crimp them onto the wire. So this one is 0.5. It's probably too small for what we're doing, but we'll go to the larger size. What we're going to do for Steve is we're actually going to join, I'm going to cut his cable in half for him, and we're going to join these into here so he can use either option. He's only got the one power source, but we'll have either option. So we're going to take these off, clean them up, put the wires together, then we're going to join them in a single bootlace and clamp them in. So now, you want to cut?
No, I'll let you cut.
I'm just going to use the cutters on this tool, so I've got it handy. There, cut. Now, one thing to check on all these is plug them into your router and actually check what colours line up with what. Now, you see this, if you were to go with red as your DC in, it's actually not correct. It's yellow we want DC in, and then this black for neutral. Well, this red and black are actually for something else. So I'm going to put a knot in these ones because I don't want to use them. And this yellow and black will be my active and neutral. So always check your connectors against what's actually written on the box. Don't assume that the colours are actually correct. And we've seen that in a lot of different vendors' versions of these connectors. Screwdriver. Pop these out again. If you don't know what... Hey, hello.
Hold on.
We're doing a recording while we wait. We're on mute. Yes, we know we're on mute. We're doing a recording out here.
Recording what?
Training.
An install of my car.
Okay.
Or we can worry about that after the fact. I will be posted on this video.
Thanks, Juan. Okay, so what we've done is we've got... Now, before you start working on these connectors, if you've already put them in, you need to note that inside here, your actual metal parts need to be cleared out. So I'm trying to get the sunlight to show it. So open them up fully before you reuse them. Make sure they're fully open. And the other thing also is always double check when you're doing them what your labelling is, such as VCC and ground, so you come back into the same one.
So do you know what those acronyms are?
VCC? Not off the top of my head. What I'm doing is I'm just untwisting this wire with my fingernails just to see how burred it is. Now this is actually burred around here, so I'm actually going to cut those and go fresh with it. You want them the same length?
That would probably be nice.
We'll start fresh. What we've got here is a cable stripping tool. We can set our length to what we need, which isn't very much on these bootlaces. It's about 1 centimetre that I set it to. You see the tool makes it nice and easy to strip that clean. Also do the same on these wires.
With bootlaces, do you find you still need heat shrink or anything else to ensure that you don't have overhang or exposed cable?
No, if you do the bootlace correctly, there'll be no exposed overhang. Okay. So I'm going to grab 1.5 millimetre. Now different brands have different standard colours for what these bootlaces are. So I'm going to grab 2 of those. I'm going to join my 2 cables together by fanning them out, overlaying them with each other, and then just giving them a very light twist. Grab my bootlace. Make sure I get all the strands in there. And you twist it on until you can get everything in. And you want your plastic to actually go inside the plastic. And you get your bootlace crimpers and you pick the size that fits the bootlace. and close down. Now it turns it into a square connection, and that's it done. If you have strands sitting at the end, you get a side cutter and you cut it short, but that is not going to come off. That is probably better than a solder, in my view. Let's do this side as well. Fan them out.
And quickly checking then, was there anything to clarify or confirm what was positive and negative in matching the V-mount plate to the microfit?
The best way, if it's already pre-assembled like this, get a battery on it, put a multimeter on it and test it with a multimeter. There, we're done, both done. So let's put them back into here and in here and in there.
And also being that's now a loop-through cable, does that mean by rights I should be able to use either microfit or the Phoenix or both to power the device?
That is correct, yep. I'll just change my screwdriver to something a bit more suited to that size. So that is not going to come out. I've pulled this now, because these aren't screwed up. It should come off the connector. That, I'm putting a fair amount of strain on it now. It's not pulling out on any of the cables. There's no exposed copper, it's all covered up in there. So that now can be wired in either or both.
And something I wasn't sure of, is there any then residual current which will come off the remaining two, or do I need to manage?
So these two, as long as they're not exposed, they're actually input sensors, not output. So one's a logic sense, well it's actually an analog input, and the other one's a logic. So you've got ignition sense and a general input. And there's a few options you can do inside the Peplink router as to what options they'll behave in the router actions, such as putting the router to sleep, logging events and triggering other things. That's all done through the internal options in the router.
And so for the moment that just means as long as I coil those up or put them up out of the way, then they should be fine?
That's right, yep. If you want to, you can get a bit of heat shrink, put that over the end, you could seal it up, put a cable tie around it to keep it out of the way. Or if you're not ever going to use them, you can cut them flush.
Alright, so now on to the cigarette lighter.
Cigarette lighter, let's do the same thing again. So pull this out of the way.
Or 12-volt accessory, because smoking is not that encouraged anymore, is it?
What's that?
Exactly.
And we open this up.
Is there a particular name for this adapter, or does it come in the boxes?
It comes in the boxes with the antennas as standard. So yeah, it's a right angle bracket. If you happen to damage it, lose it, need a replacement, feel free to write to us, and we can see what we can do to help you on that. And start fresh. You notice I'm keeping all my scraps contained so I can environmentally put them away. And sometimes it does get stuck in there, but it's good. Okay, that's one end. Again, we know from last time that we're using this yellow and black, but if you want to be sure, see how I just picked it up? It's actually that yellow and black. And if you always want to check it,
So something I've found so far in my testing was that if I power off the car, obviously the 12 volt goes off.
Yep.
If I did want to have this device in a standby mode, if I could find 12 volt from somewhere else, would that be a possibility to maintain the router's power during the car being off, or is that a risk of flooding the battery?
It is. Now, we have a slight challenge here. Which one's the positive, which one's the negative? So to do this, we're going to take a quick pause. I'm going to go grab an altimeter and I'm going to buzz it out because I don't know which is positive and which is negative. I could have taken note of which one was on which before I disconnected it, but I'm going to check fresh.
Guess last time, but it's a good thing to do it properly.
Okay, we'll be back. So I've got my trusty multimeter, and my preferred brand is Fluke, but any good multimeter will do. I'm going to do a continuity test, check my probes first. It's good. Safety's off. So center pin is active. There it is, just to confirm that.
So when you say center pin is active, is that meaning center pin is positive?
Positive. Center pin is positive. So I'm just going to put a little knot in this one for the moment. And fold just to keep it out of the way. Now, again, spread them out. Spread them out a bit. Bring them in together. Mix and twist. Grab our bootlaces.
So my understanding is any sort of copper coloured cable is normally copper, but when you get silver cable as a conductor, what cable is that normally?
It's generally copper, but it's been pre-tinned.
Like solder tinning?
Similar to solder tinning, yeah. They pre-tin it as part of the cable manufacturing process. It's very rare that they're made out of aluminium or anything else.
Juan, if you're still on that call, can you mute? I'm thinking we're hearing a little bit of you in the background.
Hang on a sec. Simon's just joined us.
He's joined?
Oh,
We're probably 2 to 5 minutes from completion.
Do you want me
But
to stop the
Mon-
recording, did you say?
no, just keep going.
No, you can keep going.
Hey Simon, we're just doing a video out the back of the place at the moment on how to rewire Steve's car with Peplink.
Marcus got his background blurred, so I can't see anything.
Is mine blurred as well?
No.
Oh, no, mine. I think mine is blurred because I was just holding mine.
Oh, one of you blurred.
Wait, give me a sec.
That's your.
Oops. Let's go to settings. Just very bright. I'm hoping the video is still in shot, or I might even put that down. And make sure you're in frame. I'll sort out the call. Should be a way to unblur. What to touch up? Off, filters, backgrounds.
Do you want to stop what you're doing and we do the meeting, Marcus?
Yep.
We're just doing one more crimp and then we'll be onto the meeting in like 1 minute or 2 minutes. And for some reason, oh wait, I think I've got rid of blur. Is the blur gone?
Yep.
Alright, cool. I will try to do a camera swap. On here, should be able to rotate camera. Wait, there I think it is. Cool. So, playing with the Max Transit that Pete brought down, and what Marcus has been working on is getting the V-mount plate sorted out for me, and then the cigarette lighter.
Okay. So you're asking about being able to do redundancy between your cigarette lighter and your VMAT. You might want to grab that camera. So right now I've got the cigarette lighter in both power options, but if you were to split it up like this, you might say, well, the cigarette lighter is the easy one to go with. So we'll put the V-mount And this way, so now you have dual power. You've got the V mount on one side and your cigarette lighter on the other side, so you can actually have dual power feed. And obviously these two wires, got to tie them off, they won't be used, but you've got your, or you can swap it round anytime.
And so then that's something that means that even when I park, I can maintain consistent power off the V mount, say if I
Correct.
put that into
Yep.
it as well. Alright, so for the moment, that is the starting of the patch for the power of the Max Transit, which I can now use 2 of the 3 power modes, because USB is the 3rd power mode. And after we finish the team meeting, we'll come back to look at car fitting possibilities. Talk soon.